fastest one-make category in Australia. And these finely tuned thoroughbreds are about to be corralled by concrete. It's going to be a rough ride when the Porsches tear up the streets of Townsville. Hi everyone and welcome to Townsville. It's round 4 today of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, and it's been a little while since we've seen this series. The first round on the streets of Adelaide seems a long time ago. Since then we've been to Albert Park in Melbourne, also to Sydney Motorsport Park for the Porsche Rennsport Festival. And out of it all, we've got a title fight on our hands. The top 4 drivers separated by just 62.5 points. There's 60 points for each race win and 180 points available for each round. So this title is going to go all the way through to the Gold Coast in October. Now, a man riding the crest of a wave at the moment is Max Twigg, elite class champ of the last 2 years. He won the last round at Sydney Motorsport Park. For the first time in history, an elite class driver winning a round of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. And to say that he's still excited and smiling, well, that's an understatement.
After success driving alongside Luke Youlden at the first ever Carrera Cup co-driver round staged in Australia, Max Twigg now wants to maintain that momentum on his own in Townsville.
It's one of those things you dream about winning, you know. It's not, I didn't win one on my own, but we run as a team effort, but to win a Carrera Cup round is something that people dream about winning a round. And, you know, it's something I've ticked the box now. I'm going to have the trophy, it's going to sit on the bench, and I've got it. You know, they can't take that from me, so we've got a Carrera Cup win and the first Australian Rennsport win, so it's a beautiful thing to have.
The last round also produced success for series newcomer Nick Percat. He claimed his first race win and now heads to a street circuit he loves.
Had really good success here last year in the Dunlop series, and that really got my championship fight back in place. I told everyone I was going to do it, and it happily happened, and I won race 3 here by a big margin, so hopefully I can use that knowledge what I learnt last year to do the same again here now.
The series leader, Craig Baird, had one of his worst rounds in 6 years at the Rennsport Festival and now heads to a track where he's struggled in recent years.
I don't know why. I really struggle to get in a rhythm around here. It's been my nemesis round for the last 3 years. But in saying that, we've always come away with, once again, a good handful of points. People say, oh, you've never won a race here and stuff, and I say, you're right. And if you ask me why, I can't give you that answer. I just need to learn my way around. I don't know, I'm getting old.
In close pursuit of the championship lead is Warren Luff. He's closed the gap to Baird and is a fan of the Townsville street circuit.
It's somewhat of an easier street circuit than some of the other places that we go to. There's lots of good overtaking opportunities here. And as we've seen in the past, Carrera Cup always puts on great racing and it's always action-packed. So hopefully we can be in front of the action.
With 2 Carrera Cup race wins this year to his name, Stephen Richards sits 4th in the points. And he's keen to add to that tally before his V8 supercar endurance role later in the year alongside Mark Winterbottom.
When you're a co-driver in the V8 Supercar Championship, it's hard for the co-drivers to get the mileage that they need to stay sharp, particularly the race miles. So setting up my own little team here, the Laser Racing team, and getting the opportunity to drive and race other really competitive guys, that keeps me nice and sharp.
Well, he said that he doesn't like this track, but it likes him this weekend. Craig Baird picks up the Tag Heuer Pole Position Award, his first of the season and 12th of his career. Join us after the break for all the action from race 1 from the streets of Townsville.
This is round 4 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. Less than half a second separated the top 6 professional drivers in qualifying, but as usual, Craig Baird would be the main man to watch.
It's Baird with a great jump. Warren Luff down the outside, on board with Shane Smolin in the elite class in James Moffat. Craig Baird has got the perfect jump. Percat second, Richards third, but Luff has been the big mover.
Watch out for action deep in the pack, though, into turn 2. Always a trouble spot here at Townsville.
Baird and Percat soon cleared away, leaving a tight tussle for third.
There's no doubt Baird and Percat have got car speed this weekend. They've got the fastest cars on the road on board. with Stephen Richards. He's pushing really hard.
Big oversteer there for Richo out of turn 8. Now he's got Michael Patrizzi all over the back of the laser Porsche.
The Western Australian sizing up a move. Richards locks up the front. He's gone deep and Patrizzi's through and on the way through to try to get a spot too. Shay Davies, a change in livery for him this weekend. No longer running with Team Kiwi Racing. This is the Porsche guest car and he is going with the big guns of Carrera Cup. Let's have a look at this replay again. Luff, very lucky.
Yeah, so I think Richo there just a bit too committed under brakes. And at the last minute, knew he was in a bit of trouble. Here the front tyres locked up and lucky not to make contact with the back of Warren Luff. And that gives Shay Davies a bit of a run on his right-hand side, but Richo had the line into the final corner, turn 13.
The first safety car was needed as the car started lap 5.
A great fight in the elite class. Shane Smolin leading the way, but they're all lined up here. Max Twigg, Damien Flack, James Kanduras, Paul Kelly, Rene Gracie. The Fujitsu Porsche doesn't look like it's hit anything.
And we're hearing from pit lane noons that there might be an electrical drama with that car. So first DNF of the year for Rene Gracie, so that's disappointing for her.
And yellow flags down at turn 2 to cover that. So that takes away that corner as a passing opportunity. Green flags fly to the right, so they're good to go from here on in. Back on board with Stephen Richards trying to close up. He's in really deep there. He's made contact with the back of Patrizzi. The reason why, the safety car has just been called and Richo with a little wave. Sorry.
When the racing resumed, the bunched up field provided plenty of action for the spectators.
Richards struggling. That contact with Patrizzi has knocked off the front splitter section, so that affects the aerodynamics. The fight in the elite class is on. Looking back from Shane Smolin. Max Twigg with a lunge on Divishan Padiachi, and around he goes.
So big lunge there from Twigg last minute.
Look
Have a look at him go with the burnout. So
well, the last time we saw him do donuts, it was because he won at Sydney Motorsport Park, but there's no win today in Townsville.
So Twigg dumps a lot of spots there in that spin. So he'll be disappointed with that, especially coming off such a great weekend for him at the previous round, like you mentioned, and James Bergmuller having a bit of a go at the back of him. Replay now of Twigg, has a bit of a dive up the inside. He was probably far enough up the inside of Putiachi there, but he didn't see him, turned across him, and that's the result. Twiggy doing some burnouts for the fans.
Back to the front, Craig Baird, Nick Percat, 1 and 2. Remember that these guys are contesting the championship. They'll be endurance drivers later in the year. Paul Kelly has had a spin the Kiwi coming back to the series this weekend. The elite boys are playing for keeps this weekend.
Wow, you don't really get away with the spin at turn 6 and not get collected by anybody or hit any concrete. Replay now of, Kelly just grabs the curb too much, and in these stiffly sprung Porsches, he goes around and very lucky not to get collected by anybody.
And James, that's a 140km/h corner in a Carrera Cup Porsche. Twigg is on the fight back trail. He's trying to get a move on Mark Sini. This is on the fringe of the top 10. The elite class drivers are turning on a race today.
And Noons, Mark Sini equalled his best ever qualifying performance in Carrera Cup this weekend. So good run so far this weekend by Sini. But have a look at Twigg up the inside at turn 7. Oh, nice and close racing, but he gets through. So this fight's definitely not over.
Remember that Twigg is the elite class champion of the last 2 years. Craig Baird out in front with a margin, in control. 1 lap to go in Townsville. He could break this winning drought that he's had at this circuit. He still can't really explain why he struggled. Oh, Mark Sini, left rear rim is damaged, tyre is punctured. And
that's coming through turn 9 and 10, Noon. So
I reckon he's had contact with a car, a wall, or both. Let's have a look. Here we go. He's slow off the turn. Bergmuller out to the wall. Now, hard to know whether tyre went first or there was a problem and then the tyre and then the contact. It was a little bit hard to pick up. This is on board with Bergmuller. Stephen Grovey avoids. Look out. Oh, brushes the fence.
Either way, very lucky for Mark Sini to get away with just what looks to be left rear damage. We saw Bergmuller. He actually got into the fence there, so he'll have a bit of damage. But have a look at this. Craig Baird, final lap, final corner. He's led from start to finish, and he breaks his hoodoo around the Townsville Street Circuit.
He's done the job. Craig Baird picks up race 1 of 3 on the streets of Townsville. That's the perfect way to start the weekend. Another 60 points in his championship tally. Percat kept him honest. He was best of the rest. Warren Luff third from Patrizzi and Richards. Shane Smolin picks up the elite class win and 7th overall.
After the break, we check out all the Race 2 highlights from the streets of Townsville. watching round 4 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. Already with a pole and race 1 win, Craig Baird looked in ominous form and again streaked away from the field off the start in race 2.
Now, while Baird has got the lead in turn 1, Warren Luff has again made a cracking start in that no second chance Porsche from McElroy Racing, but he's going down the outside here, but there's nothing to gain other than opening the door. Patrizzi down the inside on Nick Percat. This is busy in the opening lap.
On board with Stephen Richards again in the Laser Porsche. Nice view of what's going on up ahead, but Patrizzi, he couldn't get that move done. But have a look at Flack and Bates going at it. Remember, these two have a bit of a history from earlier on in the year at Clipsal.
Oh, someone has to yield here because you can't get through these next two side by side. Great shot as they come running straight through back into this Reed Park, the Parkland section of this Townsville circuit. It really is a hybrid. It's very much like Albert Park through this section, but it's Baird, Luff, Percat, Patrizzi, Richards, Shea Davies hanging on. Shane Smolin, the race 1 winner in the elite class, is hanging on at the moment. Dubashan Padiachi behind is a pro driver, so he's doing a good job to have one of the pros behind him.
He's putting plenty of pressure, though, on Smolin. As we go on board through the fast turn 10 here at Townsville, Padiachi all over the back of Smolin, and he's locked the rears. Oh, and into the fence.
And that's done damage. That'll have popped the radiator, steering damage. Shane Smolin's history in Townsville is either win or bust because he won 2 races in elite class last year but couldn't hang on for the round. He won the first race here this weekend, but it's all come undone. Let's have a look again. Lock the rears and put it in the fence.
So just did it all on his own there, Aaron. I thought maybe he had a bit of contact from Padiachi, and this will be a good shot at it, but no, just you can hear the rear wheels locked and fires him into the Kotire fence, and that's his race 2 done.
The leader was allowed to get away as Nick Percat pressured Warren Luff for second.
Great fight here between Warren Luff, who we'll see with Craig Lowndes and the Red Bull team in the V8 Enduros later in the year. Nick Percat will be with Tony D'Alberto. Both these guys drove V8 supercars here on Friday in the practice session for Enduro co-drivers, so they've had a few more laps on this track this weekend.
And Percat definitely has pace at the moment on Warren Luff. He's all over the back of Luff as they go into turn 11. Luff even going defensive, so Percat won't like that. Very eager on the throttle there out of 11-2 Percat, so he's trying to find a way past Luff, but very difficult to pass in these cars. They're all very similar in terms of their specification. While they're identical in specification, it's just the minor setup tweaks that each individual driver and team can do to the cars. But Luff, he's doing a good job. Got a great start, got ahead of Percat, and so far been able to hold on to that position.
And Luff, one of the most experienced drivers in the field, but it's his first year in Carrera Cup. Yet to rack up a race when he's been really competitive so far this year. He's well and truly in the championship mix, but they just don't have an answer for Craig Baird at the moment.
And this will be, that's what's really hurting Percat at the moment, as we see a problem here for James Konduris.
Let's have a look at what's unfolded. Replay coming on to the start-finish straight. The car stops and slows, and Paul Kelly had nowhere to go.
Yeah, so another problem there for Konduris, and look at the radiator damage to Paul Kelly. That's him done for the day, unfortunately, and like you said, nowhere to go. Konduris just propped in front of him, and into the back he went. But Percat now, he's got to run out of turn 8, so he'll be able to get through here on Warren Luff. You don't want to be on the outside at turn 10, and Percat comfortably through, and he'll be doing all he can to hunt down Craig Baird.
And turn 10, James, is a 180-kilometre-an-hour fourth-gear corner in one of these cars with a massive bump in the middle. Always a big move to run there. Yellow flags are out because Konduris' car is off to the side just around this 13th and final turn, but Davies keeping the pressure on Richards.
Percat managed to close the gap in the last few laps, but Baird never looked in danger.
Final turn, checkered flag will await, and the Jet Travel Insurance Porsche, he has number 1 on the door for a reason, because Craig Baird is the 4-time Carrera Cup champion. He wins 2 from 2 on the streets of Townsville, but Percat looks menacing. He's got pace. He's the best man to take the fight up to the Kiwi.
But look for Craig Baird to be even stronger in the third and final race. He only did 2 flying laps in qualifying, so he has very good tyres.
Warren Luff is on target for a podium. Another third from Michael Patrizzi. Damien Flack picks up the elite class from Max Twigg. Tony Bates rounded out the top 10.
When we come back, it's the third and final race from Townsville. This is round 4 of the 2013 Porsche Carrera Cup. conditions could not have been more perfect as the reigning champ looked to make it 3 from 3 in Townsville.
Now, the man with the gun starts has been Warren Luff this weekend. The problem is he's on the second row of the grid. Look at him go. Car number 7 pulls out. Nick Percat's made a good jump, but Craig Baird has pole. He's got the inside line of turn 1. He'll hang on to it for turn 2. Look at Luff. 3 wide. How good's this? These boys are attacking this final race. Percat slots in behind Baird. Luff's out wide. He'll have to hang tough to make it to second spot.
Well, that was definitely action aplenty into turn 2 there.
Look out, Shane Smollen. Over the back of Tony Walls.
Busted right front there, Noons.
Smollen's done again, so 2 races and 2 accidents. Look at this for rubbing. This is a wild first lap in this final race at Townsville. But Baird, again, has some clear air out in front. They need to beat him off the line because he controls the races from this point onwards. Well,
like we mentioned earlier, Noons, it's so hard to pass in these cars because they are so similar. And Craig Baird just gets those starts nailed every time, leads that first lap, gets a nice little margin, and then it's smooth sailing for the rest of the race, but might not be the case this race. We'll have a look at Richo up the inside. Percat tags the back of Luff.
And this is bad news for all of them because it's let Baird off the hook. Look at the margin that he's got in a corner or two. They are fighting tough, and Percat and Richards get together. Side by side, you've got to be careful. Patrizzi stuffs it up the inside as well, runs the 2-time Bathurst champ off the road. The boys are into it, and we've got 13 laps to go.
And Shay Davies is likely to benefit out of that as well. He's got a run on Stephen Richards. Bit of debris flying off ahead of Richo there, so that might have been the splitter again coming off the laser Porsche.
No, that's actually off Nick Percat's car. Look, the front lip is gone from that car from the contact that he had at the last corner, and that'll affect the downforce. He'll have to be careful that he hasn't busted a radiator or caused more drama.
But have a look at the lead that Craig Baird already has, and we got safety car now, or yellow flag, sorry, for Shane Smollen up the escape road at turn 3 on. Dramas here for Tony Wall, so that'll be the contact we saw on lap 1. And problems with Nick Percat. He's pulled off to the side. He's slowing. So we dare say he might have some radiator damage to that co-tired Porsche, so very disappointing for him.
Let's have a look at the replay at turn 1. It was busy. Patrizzi down the inside of Richards. Luff hanging tough around the outside, trying to get a little bit of a run. Back in the pack, though, look for Shane Smollen right behind Tony Walls, who looks to just be slow off turn 2. Smollen doesn't expect it, and right front is instantly damaged. We jump on board with the McGrath Porsche. This will tell the story. Oh, heavy hit. And day done.
And here's the action between Percat and Richards rubbing into turn 11. And Patrizzi says, oh, thank you, I'll have a bit of that. Slides up the inside of Richards and then gives him a bit of a hip and shoulder. Not much racing room on the exit of the final corner. And there's the result of the contact we saw between Percat and Warren Luff. And it's a disappointing Nick Percat watching on.
And that costs him more points in the championship, a potential podium for the weekend. He's been a solid second place in the first 2 races, but Craig Baird is off and running. Luff, Patrizzi, Richards next. Shay Davies 5th. Fight for 3rd is one to watch. Patrizzi, Richards, Shay Davies, who's doing double duty this year, driving your old FPR car in the V8 Touring Car Series as well as Carrera Cup. He's going with guys who've got lots more experience. He's keeping the pressure on Stephen Richards. Down to turn 2. Heavy braking. He's in deep. He's in really deep. Hang on to it. Wow, nearly took Patrizzi with him. Lucky not to hit the car. Lucky not to hit the fence. Lucky, lucky, lucky.
245 kilometres on approach to turn 2 there, Noon. So serious amount of speed, and he did a very good job not to take out Patrizzi. Locked the right front brake. But, yeah, we could have had a big accident there. But back on board now with Stephen Richards, putting a lot of pressure on Patrizzi, who runs wide.
Got a great run.
6.
Patrizzi will block it, though. Now the door opens, and Richards is down the inside. He needs to crowd Patrizzi here. Little bit of a rub, but he gets away with it. Nice move from Steve Richards.
Great racing there by those two experienced drivers. They've both obviously spent time in the main game. But replay now of what happened to Shay Davies. Locked the rears initially, and then it pinched the right front tyre. And, oh, wow-wee, almost a big accident.
And this was the replay of Patrizzi. Richards got a great run off the right hand and dived it up the inside and had enough to get in front. A little bit of a rub. Patrizzi over the curb. They did well. This man has done the job. He didn't like this place. He's never had a round win. He'd never had a race win. He's ticked all the boxes. Craig Baird, pole and 3 race wins. He's dominated round 4.
Warren Luff comes across in second place. Good weekend for him in the no second chance Porsche, and Stephen Richards rounds out your top three.
Fastest lap of the race to Michael Patrizzi. Shea Davies recovered for fifth. Max Twigg, three different elite class race winners this weekend. But it's Baird, Luff and Patrizzi on the podium. Elite class overall goes to Damien Flack for the weekend, but Craig Baird with the perfect score, 180.
Well, Craig, a clean sweep on a track you've not had success before. It's been a perfect outing, really.
It has been a perfect outing. It's, I wouldn't have come here thinking I was going to get pole and 3 wins. Obviously very good for the championship, and I was just speaking to Bats there. I think that's 8 wins from 9 starts in the sprint round. So it's been a fairly dominant year so far, barring Rensport.
Points margin is now 74.5 between Baird and Luff. Percat, Richards and Davies the top 5. Michael Patrizzi, his first podium of the season. He sits 6. Max Twigg continues to lead the elite class. Dan Jordan from Porsche Motorsport presenting the trophies to Baird, Luff and Patrizzi on the podium. Next time we see you, it's round 5 from Winton in Victoria, the first time the Porsches have been there since 2007. The question mark remains, can anyone stop Craig Baird? We'll see you next time to get an answer. Thanks to James Moffat and the whole team. I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll see you next time.